I'm going to talk about something that may be controversial, but I want to share it. Let me tell you the difference between a soft man and a real man. Let me just give you a little bit of backstory on me. I have always considered myself a very independent woman. Raised by a single mom, didn't really have like the best choice of men, so I never really saw like a strong man growing up. My grandpa is very strong, very traditional, and so that was my only example. However, because I was around my single mom and I really aspired to be like her, I just took on this whole persona of like, I can take care of myself, I can protect myself, I can protect my kids. I'm a big advocate for protecting yourself and other women protecting themselves, though those things have not changed. So crazy what ends up happening to a traditional woman with a real man. Let me just define tradition. I'm Christian. I believe that a woman should be submissive to a man, her husband. I believe that a man should lead. I believe in gender roles. One of the things that is shocking to me is that when I met with him, I don't carry.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
I just feel so protected. I'm not advocating this, ladies. Recently noticed that I am like slowly getting away from carrying because I know this man has got my back. I know this is gonna make me look so bad, but I'm just being truthful, okay? Just realized that it's just been a bad habit of mine to leave my firearm at home and to not carry as much as I should because I'm with him. At the end of the day, always depend on yourself to be the first line of defense and no one else. I just had to give props to the real men out there that just make your woman feel so safe. Like what Jordan Peterson says, you all have a monster inside of you. Harnessing that power, having control over it, so crucial and what we need in this country more than anything right now. These soft men are driving me crazy. That's a whole other topic. Shout out to the real men out there. Keep protecting your women. Also encourage them to protect themselves. But if you're out there protecting your woman and she feels so safe, you're the real one. There's my little rant.
Yo, there's a YouTuber called Brianna Befit. Excuse me if I'm saying her name wrong. And in the video I just showed you, there's a lot of perspectives that also, I guess, reflect in the minds of a lot of people that consider themselves part of the gun community or a gun owner that could be wrong and detrimental. So let's just get right into it. First issue I seen was basing her opinion off of what a real man is based off of him being traditional or strong. And in my opinion, no matter whether you have a gun, no matter how many people you got your ass beat by or how many people you done beat up, shot, robbed, or how much violent experience you have or how traditional you think you are, none of that makes you a man. You need to learn how to defend yourself regardless of your gender, regardless of whether you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, regardless of whether you're in a safe area or not, or traditional or not. That's the first issue I have something wrong with. And you also need to check your definition of what strong is. Being able to beat someone up or being able to rob somebody or just typically able to cause great bodily harm, that doesn't specifically make you tough. Everybody got their own perspective on it, but being strong is not only being physical strong. Can you handle and adjust the problems in life? And that doesn't mean just quote unquote street or tough guy or strong stereotypical movie shit, just overall in life, mentally, physically, spiritually, and physically and externally outdoors. The second one was seeing independent as a persona to take off, which he said handling herself or taking care of her kids and even carrying. And to me, that's pretty reflective of how much dating experience she have or the perspective that she may have on men in general. A lot of women that hide behind the independent persona think it's tough and just forget the fact that being independent is more of a normal thing that should be done overall regardless of your gender. It doesn't matter how close or lovey-dovey or how much of a foundation you build with somebody. Anybody can leave, anybody can die, anybody can lose a job, anybody can get hurt. No matter what, you need to always have a trump card regardless of how much you believe in someone. This is 2024. I think people still misconstrue the idea of being independent and they just forget that being independent is basically being a normal, responsible adult based off of their misconstrued perceptions of how they view relationships and what the game or info they get off of TikTok and other social media platforms, YouTube itself. I think people need to realize that everyone is different and have their own perspectives and should be taking care of themselves regardless of whatever the internet says, and should not be judging their whole perspective on an entire gender based off of the few words that people may give you what people may call a good, healthy relationship. If it's not one going off of your own experiences, can't be proved or backed up, and not already been shown to helpful either based off, I prefer you go off of research, ask people that are closest to you and your own experience, and mix them all three together. But for some odd reason, when you come to people who have bad experiences with men or women on the internet, or typically don't date a lot, or just don't know how to overall choose and have a good partner or know what that look like, they think they have a good idea as to tell you what to do just because as of the moment they feel like they have a good relationship. It sounds like in the video that she's losing herself in the relationship, if I'm being honest. You don't think that you're safer or just less likely to be hurt just because somebody else is around you. You know, this is real life. You know, this ain't where you have a Call of Duty teammate member who could respond or you could just restart the mission with. Just because a man or woman is able to defend you and capable of doing so doesn't mean that they will successfully. You do not know the capabilities of what you may be coming up against. It doesn't matter how strong, tall, or fast, or how good of a shooter he is. If he come across a better shooter, he may die. If he come across a better fighter, regardless of how strong or taller he is, or even faster, he still may lose and potentially do great bodily harm to y'all. No matter what, always be able to take care of yourself and obviously your loved ones, but that's just not something you should be alone determining what you feel like someone is strong based off of, or call him a real man based off of. Because realistically, that is the bare minimum. If you care for someone, you do not have to be told or explained as to why you should fight for them or not let them get beat up in a time of harm. That is the bare minimum. And it's sad a lot of you don't know that and have to go to the internet to see or get a viewpoint of whatever you believe a good perspective on a relationship is, while forgetting that we live in a world, or at least America alone is 330 million people that's raised differently, that come from different backgrounds, that have their own different perspective. Choose your own, not what the internet tells you. And lastly, just to make sure we don't miss over the point, being independent shouldn't be a persona that you pick up on. That's just something you should be doing in general, regardless of how close or lovey-dovey you are with someone. And this is not to be poking at Brianna, which I believe I'm saying her name is correctly. This is for you. This is for everyone who believes this. I believe her viewpoints is wrong. I don't think she's a horrible person, just to be clear. One thing that she also said is being submissive. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, but we're just gonna go off the Google definition, and I want to argue with you two on this. Being submissive, according to the Google definition, means to conform to anyone's authority, and an example it gave is meant to be sheep-like. And to me, that's just entirely wrong. And she said specifically submissive towards the man. And I understand, you know, obviously people may tell you what you're doing right and wrong in a relationship, but if you want a healthy relationship, I believe, personally, let me know how you feel about this. You should be with somebody who you're willing to take criticism for, regardless of which side is it on. I wouldn't want my woman to not be able to think for herself, or not be able to potentially tell me what I am and am not doing wrong. It doesn't mean I'm being submissive. That's just simple communication. And it just seemingly just went right over her head. Like I said, this is not just to poke at her, but she seemingly doesn't know too much about healthy relationships, or maybe not having a lot of experience in relationships in general, which isn't wrong. You know, you can't blame someone for not being a thought. But if you don't have the experience or the research to back it up, why are you pushing this message? Or once again, just to be clear, she says this is not something to advocate, but once again, it's a lot of things wrong when you're talking about potential concealed carrier, you know, that may be walking into dangerous situations. But just to put a nail on that last point, my personal opinion is that both sides should be able to communicate each other whatever their wants or needs is, and be able to willing to change depending on what it is, and also be able to set boundaries. You may not or should not always be able to conform to whatever someone else's need, especially if you feel like it's just out of this world or just flat out stupid or something you disagree with. You should, at the bare minimum, should be able to communicate with that, in my opinion, if you want a healthy, long-lasting relationship, regardless of your traditional beliefs. And even though it says be submissive towards a man. I don't think it said anything about you not being able to communicate what you want in a relationship with your man. The last point, describing a soft man is unprotective. I'm gonna just tell you this flat out. If a man is not willing to protect you and saying that he loves you and care for you, he just simply doesn't care for you. It's not that he's soft, because I guarantee you if his sister, his mom, his auntie, or even his friends, which are probably male or even women, if they're around with him, I guarantee you he put his paws up. 9 times out of 10, if not for his friends, at least for his family. If a man or woman is willing to just let you get beat out of you in front of her, they simply do not care. I didn't know that was rocket science for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people in the gun space just overall think that they're being more of a traditional or masculine man or more of an independent woman just because they're able to carry or defend themselves or like to put on the persona of what TV or Hollywood has portrayed a man or woman is supposed to be. But everyone has their own ideals and way of thinking. Once again, bare minimum shouldn't be described of what a real man or woman is, or somebody that's just overall compatible for you for long-term relationships. The bare minimum should never be a reason for you to see someone as good enough for a long-lasting relationship. And I also shouldn't think that this type of messages should be spread in the gun community overall. Concealed carrying is solely about protecting yourself and the people that you love. That has nothing to do with concealed carrying or overall picking up a weapon. I don't know where this line is being drawn from. I know a lot of women gun tubers or even sometimes the Snow Bunny have these misconstrued perceptions that they're willing to say with confidence on camera. But please have your own perspective. Please be willing to think for yourself. Please always be willing to protect yourself regardless of how close you feel to someone. It's a reason that when a man knows that his woman could shoot, he still would most likely carry a weapon, at least according to her and just like many others in the situation. Because he knows regardless of whether his wife or girlfriend or baby mama is a potential good shooter, he can still die. I don't know if this was inflicted because of what y'all believe a real man is based off of gangster flicks, rap movies, or whatever your influences is, but please be able to think of your own perspective and have critical thinking and be able to question your own beliefs and not believe everything that you hear on the internet.